So I start with the quote. You probably don't remember your quote.
Okay. Oh.
Nobody does, and everybody freaks out, but your quote is fine. So you said, since the first day of freshman year, I've been looking forward to leaving high school.
Okay.
Now that I'm gone.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot saying these words.
No, you're not. You're not. Now that I'm gone and have been since a random day in March, I realize how much I miss seeing everyone every day. I am going to study physics in college, and I'm grateful for my science teachers at Savannah Arts Academy. They taught me to love science. Mrs. Barnwell, who didn't baby me and expected good work. Mrs. Kavanaugh, who taught physics and always made time to talk through my questions and thoughts after class every single time. And Mr. Martin, who expected something other than crap. These teachers created my future.
Okay.
So, your quote to me demonstrates like you have such a reverence for teachers. Obviously, your mother's a teacher.
Yes, so is my
There.
father.
Your father's a teacher too?
Retired teacher, yes. 30 years in the Smith school system, and I don't know how the hell he did it. I really don't know how the hell he did it.
What grade did he teach?
He taught all of high school, so he taught Jenkins kids. Dude's actually the teacher that the kid got shot outside his classroom.
Oh.
I watched the kid get shot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, really.
That was your dad?
My dad would watch that, sorry. He told me stories in high school. Like, he every day come home and it would be like, hey, I was broke another fight today outside my classroom. Just
That's
chaos.
crazy. Isn't that crazy?
I know. And when he retired, it was like the best day of my life. I was like, oh, thank God. Like,
you have to worry about him.
Not even that. It's just, well, that, and also it's just
the
like
stress.
The stress of him, and just, he did so much for me. He worked at Hunt. I mean, my dad put me through private school twice. He would told my mom after the Jenkins incident, like, my kids are going to private school. I don't care how much it costs. They're not going to public school.
Yeah.
That he worked at both Windsor and Groves and Harlem Airfield teaching night classes.
Oh, wow.
He loved that more than anything else.
Oh, I bet. Because people wanted to be there.
Not even that. He taught the Army Rangers. Oh, Rangers are like...
Cool.
Oh, first of all, you tell him to do something, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. Like, the battalion that he taught is the Fire and Forget Squad. Battalion. Meaning, you tell them to do it, they fire, you don't have to think about it ever again.
Right.
Same thing in class. You tell them to do something, it was done. The next day on his desk. It was like, teaching people that cared.
Yeah.
It's just guys that were required to go to school.
Where did you guys go to private school?
Blessed Sacrament.
You did? Okay.
Yes, Irish Catholic.
So, your quote demonstrates a huge reverence for teachers, which makes sense. That's what your parents did or whatever. Now that you are 4 years out of high school, and first of all, tell me what you did. Because you said you were going to study physics in college.
Yes.
And like everyone in your class, and part of the reason we're doing this is nobody took the path they said they were going to. Nobody, because you guys, it wasn't that you missed graduation. It was that you missed that launch year. Like that whole year after high school where you figure yourself out. You guys were stuck at home.
Yeah. Definitely.
And so how did that affect, like, what are you doing now? How did that affect your decisions? What happened?
So I do electrical work right now. Electrician's apprentice. I'm trying currently to get into the Coast Guard.
Oh, great.
Here back for some waivers. Went down to MEPS back on July 14th. I went down to MEPS. Went through physically flying colors. A few things came up. ADD meds, 504 plan from high school. A few new things that happened in my life we'll get to later.
Yeah.
Had to get some waivers sent up, waiting to hear back on those. Hopefully that'll be up in Cape May, New Jersey soon for basic training.
All right.
Hoping for that. After high school, I took a little gap semester. Just spent time working, fishing. Personally, I wish I didn't do it because if I kept the senior year of high school and COVID didn't happen, I think it would have been fine. It would have kind of been just like COVID had occurred. But I had that 9-month break of just no school, working, having fun, and trying to go back to college, especially as an 18, 19-year-old, a young adult, where there's no one for the first time in my life saying you have to do the work. Not good with me. Not good at all. I spent a lot of time just at parties, hanging out with the wrong people, dropped out of Southern as Armstrong, went to Savannah Tech, didn't really work out there either, so I went to a Valley Friend, and they were like, we'll make you electrician's apprentice, worked there for a little bit, and now I'm working for a company out of Statesboro, Gas and Electric, and they are probably the best company I've ever worked for. He's real small, real new company, guys from the South. He just wants to see like his guys succeed in life.
Yeah.
You know? But it definitely, like studying physics went out the window after about 3 weeks of college.
Yeah.
It was just like...
Well, it wasn't fun either when you got there. Like,
no, I mean, because...
it was online, it was... lame.
Yeah, like there was no like aside from like going to like hang out with people like that like I met in college and like think I need to get into bars. And it was just like, you go to class, there was no social aspect of it. It wasn't like, because you go through high school, it's like, okay, you spend 8 hours a day at this one school, you're going to meet people, you're going to make friends. Now it's like, okay, that's entirely changed. All online, or if it's in person, it's socially spaced out. There's every other row's taken with seats. You can't talk to anyone, it feels like. It was just hard, like, overall, mentally.
That is the one thing every single person mentioned, unless they went to an Ivy League, where they were in like a bubble.
Yeah.
You know, but if you went to Georgia or Georgia College or anywhere like that, it
was just
like, a couple of guys said, like, going to Georgia was like going to prison. You couldn't leave your dorm door open. So you didn't meet anyone. There were no extracurricular activities. You had to make an appointment to go to the gym. You had to make an appointment to go to the cafeteria. You didn't meet anybody.
Yeah, no, you had no friends.
You had no friends. And they talked a lot about like the mental side of that, like being depressed and like not even realizing you were depressed.
I mean, it's especially like, I'm not gonna lie, I got diagnosed with depression and anxiety when I was 21 recently. Like, it was a hard thing to hear, like, yeah, you have depression and anxiety. It's like, well, what? And you don't realize it because your whole life you just kind of like go through the same way as everyone else. So like, when you are depressed, it's like, you don't really realize it because at the time, my life was basically just sleep, school, work, repeat. There was no social. So it was like, if you are depressed, the typical signs of laying in bed all day, doing nothing, not going to the gym, eating all day, just flew under the radar.
Right. Everybody was doing it.
Everyone was doing it. So like, you think, oh, I don't have depression. I'm just normal like everyone else.
I'm just getting through COVID like everyone else.
Just getting through COVID and you get out of COVID and you're like, this is still happening in my life. What's going on? Like, why am I not happy anymore?
Yeah.
I have friends. And it was definitely like a real wake up call of like, you know, really got to take care of yourself. You got to focus on yourself some.
So saying that, and I'm telling you, what you're telling me is so normal. Everybody said it. There are very few people that didn't say it.
If you didn't, I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like, what?
Yeah. Like, it did a number on everybody. So saying that, when I went to go study, like, I was looking for like academic articles or something. Surely to God, somebody paid attention to the high school class of 2020 and what happened.
Yes.
Nobody has. I can't find anything.
Nobody has.
They talk about like the college class of 2020 graduating into like a recession and no jobs. But nobody talked about you guys losing that launch year. And a few people wrote articles and they said that it was traumatic. They labeled it traumatic. Would you say losing that was traumatic? Would you term it trauma? Or would you just say it just sucks? Like, it was bad luck, but is it trauma?
I would say it was, in a sense, character development. You know, you kind of had to, it definitely, at least for me now, I think like mentally, you could kind of throw most things my way and I'd be like, all right, whatever. Like, I don't, like, it doesn't really matter anymore. Like, cause I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like life goes on. The world keeps spinning around. You just kind of got to go through it. Like, even if it does suck and like whatever you're told or you find out or whatever someone does say and whatever mentally it hurts you, it does suck in their resources, but world keeps spinning. You just got to keep going with the flow, and that's how it goes. So I wouldn't label it as traumatic. I would label it as just, it sucked. It was definitely not fun. I mean, no St. Pat's for 2 years was like the worst. Like, that was the worst part of the whole thing, man.
Yeah.
Not able to go down now and get $1 shots at the bars at the McDonald's at night.
People don't realize, like, St. Patrick's Day is like Christmas here.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And it's someone who was like, he was in the Finance Society, who walks in the parade.
Yeah.
Like, my family came over here in the 1600s, like before the Maine.
Oh, so you are deep.
Oh, it's deep. Like, and they were like, we would, like, I went up to Maine to like see like my family's roots, and like we're all been on the coast of this of the east, and he was family out west.
That's fascinating.
So like for me, St. Pat's is like a very real thing. I mean, hell, my great grandfather, because my family, you know, we're hatches, we can't make our mind on anything. So half the family went to America, the other half stayed in Scotland, Ireland, England, and which is the UK. And I mean, I have things from like my great grandfather. Like, I have a rake head that my great grandfather made in Scotland. That up until last year was some of the original wood that was still original. Like the rake head, like the rake itself was original. The actual like piece of wood you grab on it, what's called, was still like the same one from like the 1820s.
That's crazy.
And it has his logo on it. And so like for me, you know, like, and everyone in our family is really religious. So, like, for us, it was like, wait, we just like lost St. Pat's for a year. Like, and it was so short notice. Both times they've canceled it now.
Right.
That it was like, we almost like, literally, I remember like like people I know were handing out, like, here's your lineup spot when they canceled it. Like, we're giving the paperwork to tell you you're lining up it, you know, on, right, you're lining up next to the mansion. You're
right. Yeah.
next to the mansion.
So, what are you guys in? What?
It's the Finian Society.
You're okay, because there's so many.
Oh, there are. Even I don't have that. Even I don't know. I've been in it my whole life. I couldn't tell you what half of their history is. Right. I can tell you what the Finians is. The Finians is the Irish Revolutionary Warriors, basically. It's just Revolutionary War for Ireland and people that fought in it. And your
mom's DAR, isn't she?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I technically could be SAR. So
yeah.
American Revolution. My sister's also in the DAR, and she's also in DOI along with my sister, which is Daughters of Ireland.
You guys are deep Savannah, man.
Oh, we run deep around here. We've been here since my grandfather, my great-great. I'm trying to think now. I think it's been like, in terms of just the family that's been here on both sides, it goes all the way back to Savannah's first founding.
That's pretty cool.
It is, until you've been here your whole life, and then you're like, you know, the whole history of the town.
Yeah,
I kind of want something new at this point. You're like, I want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's normal, especially for, you know, getting out of high school, like trying to do something different.
You're trying to figure yourself out.
And you were just stuck.
Yeah, and it sucked because, like, I didn't have a license out of high school. I was pretty lazy. I didn't have a job up until I was like 18.
RJ.
I was horrible. I was a horrible
Your poor
kid.
Parents.
Oh, my parents were so annoyed with me because I had a truck. My grandparents gave me a 97 Dodge Dakota. I had that thing up until pretty much that Tundra. I had a Tahoe between that, but it was only for like a month. So I have a Tundra now, but my parents were used to get on me every day. They're like, you have a perfectly fine car outside if you just go get a job. There was a point in time I was 17, they're like, we will pay your car insurance. Just go take the test. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't care. And now it's like, you can't get a day where I'm just sitting at the house. You can't find it. Like, I'm going hunting tomorrow because it's the opening day of deer season.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got some good spots found for him, too. I got some good spots.
That's good. So tell me, okay, did you stay home and go to Armstrong, or did you try? Okay, so you did.
I stayed home.
So you were there, what, a semester, not even, and you were like, I'm out.
I think I went to maybe like a month and a half worth of classes.
Okay, so you stayed home the first semester.
Yes.
Second semester, you did like a month and a half, and you were like, I'm out.
Yeah, January through May, I just was like a month and a half, and I didn't tell my parents that. That was a horrible thing. I was 18, so like, you know, because you don't want to tell your parents like, hey, like, I just wasted your money and this loan that I got because I don't like college. Come to find out, most kids drop out of college, so I wasn't that embarrassed by it. Like, my sister dropped, like, everyone drops out of college at some point in time. It's probably gonna happen because, let's be real, if you're 18 and you get told, hey, you are in the world, like, you are in the country to go to college, and the government will pay for it. And you know, like, the school is the most fun, not the most like, you're not thinking about your life, you're thinking about the moments. We aren't pulling a Manny here and actually looking at the school of what it offers. We're looking at the partying, the football, this basketball.
How much fun is it going to be?
How much fun? Like, how's the frat? How's the Greek life scene? So, I mean, I saw Southern. It was near home. I didn't want to leave home yet because I was still young. I didn't want to, like... Oh, God, you didn't even want your driver's license. Yeah, no, I was like... going to the University of Arizona or something. And now looking back on it, I wish I kind of did. Because I feel like I would have stuck with it. I would feel like it would be like forced, like, hey, you bit the bullet here. You got to go now. Like, you got to stick with it. So, in a sense, like... I wish I went off to a big school, but I'm really kind of happy with how my life's turned out. Right. Helping out of college. But tell me why. I met some of the coolest people ever. Yeah? My coworkers. Okay, this guy, I was working with these two guys, Wes and Brennan. We call them Brennan B. Wildo. They're from Jessup, Georgia. Small town dudes. Country as they come. Talk like this, like. Yeah. We are through country around here. Yeah. And they have the coolest stories, and they're just the coolest guys. I work with all the guys are from like Jessup, Statesboro, Rankin, and they're just cool. And like, I wouldn't have met these people if I had just gone off to some big university and met a bunch of people that are already basically the same as. I wouldn't have changed as a person and kind of figured out that, hey, you don't really like the whole doing 9 to 5 grind. You'd rather go out and work 48 to 55 hours a week out in a field digging a 200-foot trench to put pipe and pull 4-out wire through for power. Like, there was definitely an upside to it. Downside, I'm always sore. There's never a day where I'm not sore. But, I mean, everything has the pros and cons.
The days go fast, I bet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at your clock. Especially put some, like, Trio Revival or Morgan or Zach Bryan on, and you start listening to music on the Milwaukee Pack-Out radio, and by noon's there before you realize it, at 5:30 hits, and you're on the road back home.
Yeah. So, why not stay with it?
Because for everything that I love about it, there are a few drawbacks. One of them is that the only, like, yes, you can make a lot of money, and yes, you can get a lot of things with electrical work, and it's a skill to always have. I really just want, eventually just want to, settle down and slow down and just, chill out. And electrical work, it's always something new every day. It's always going to a new job site, or every 3 months I'm going and driving. Maybe right now I'm driving 45 minutes to work, but 3 months ago I was driving 10 minutes to work.
Right. It's wherever the job site is.
It's wherever the job site goes, and that's cool. But I don't like waking up every day at 5:30 to be at work at 7. You know, and I'm not saying I want to live 5 minutes from work. I don't like being 5 minutes from work, but I don't want to live an hour and 15 from work.
Right. And not know. Yeah.
Yeah. And so do I love the 9 to 5 grind? No. So I'm more in the military, because military.
You know, you're going to be getting up at 5:30 every day.
Yeah. But every day I live on base.
Gotcha.
And you're on base, and and the Coast Guard's so cool with hell, there's a base out in Alaska.
So you're going to see some stuff.
Oh, that's the plan. That is entirely the plan. I mean, I got diagnosed with ADD when I was 4 years old, and it's how do you
You just wonder, aren't you just a boy?
I definitely have it. I've had ADD.
Yeah.
Are you sure I wasn't just a 4-year-old kid?
Well, right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is a time when it was
running rampant.
Okay, so why Coast Guard?
I love boats. I love boats. I love the water. I'm forever gonna be. I love hunting.
I know you're a huge fisher.
Yeah, I'm wearing a Columbia shirt right now. I love the water. One of my best friends has a boat. We go offshore all the time. I can't get enough of it. I love hunting, and I just like the outdoors. And the Army would be cool. I have friends that are in the Army, Air Force, Navy, and I have a buddy that went in the Coast Guard, and he's like, I love it. All my other friends are like, this sucks. So I'm like, he likes it. The other 4 of y'all hate it. I'm going to that branch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think I'm one of these other 4.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. Well, I'm excited for you.
Thanks.
That's pretty awesome. Tell me, has the journey of the past 4 years, and I kind of already know the answer to this, has it been anything like you thought it was going to be? When you were a junior, you were thinking...
I thought I had my whole life.
You thought it was all set.
Oh, I thought I figured out. Here's something, I'll put it this way. I realized this about a week and a half back. No one has any idea what they're doing. Right. No one.
Yeah.
There's no set plan. There's no blueprint to life. It's just go with the flow. So it's definitely I was okay, I'm going to go off to college, be an engineer, nuclear engineer, finish out that degree, get a good job, buy a house, wife, kids, and control a truck. And then it changed.
A cool truck.
You got a big. You got it. Yeah. You got to have the F-250. Yeah. You got to have the diesel. You got. You can't. No. I'm still a redneck at heart.
Yeah.
And by 20, I was like, okay, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
What's actually happening here? We're working restaurant jobs, and now we're just not even in college anymore. We got to figure it out. So. Electrician came up into play, and that's kind of how that whole thing
I think
started.
it's fantastic.
I will say it's fun. It's definitely fun. I'll say this. It makes life easier doing trade work, because the ability to just negate risk has my ability to just tremendously gone up. There are days where, I'm not gonna lie, probably I was just gonna be pissed if they hear these words. I'll be in a bucket 50 foot in the air, just no hard hat, no harness, no grip shoes, just just standing on the edge of it, leaning over, holding onto a pole, making a joint up, putting wire nuts on.
So if it's been nothing, it's obviously nothing like you just said, what you thought it was going to be. Tell me, what was your biggest loss of the past 4 years? And it could be anything.
Anything?
It could be you lost somebody, or it could be you lost part of your personality, or it could be you lost a trip you were going to do. It could be anything. People have told me all kinds of things.
Can I name 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
My uncle, my grandfather.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It was rough. Well, it wasn't so much I couldn't pick a favorite, obviously. They're the reason. My grandfather's the reason I fish so much. My uncle literally got me into hunting. Like, like when I was 5 or 6 years old, he sent me a photo of a buck on the back of it. It just says, RJ, I hope you get one this big one day. And ever since I've been hooked on hunting.
That makes me want to cry.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it was a big loss, and it happened within like 2 months of each other. Like, it was
really?
Like my grandfather died on April Fool's Day. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh,
like,
really?
legally, the death certificate is 12/43 April 1st.
Yeah.
2023. And then my uncle's is, I want to say, June, like, 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
And it just...
So, was your grandfather expected or not?
He was definitely expected. They were both expected to just...
Oh, was your uncle sick?
Cancer.
Yeah. Damn. Sorry.
Yeah, I think they tried to get me lung cancer, sadly.
Oh, yeah, you need to stop that.
It's never going to stop. I do trade work. I've been hit with 240 too many times to quit. Like, I'm serious. I was 20 years old. I was doing a wiring of a box at a restaurant, and someone turned the breaker on, and I cut neutral, hot, and ground at the same time. So I crossed literally, like, the gold rule of electrical is do not cross those three. 240 with a load on it, because the freezer was plugged into the outlet that I was wiring up.
Oh my gosh.
Too. So I got hit and set off a ladder 20 feet and through a sheetrock onto concrete, and the first was out of my mouth where I need a cigarette.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, it was the only time that kind of how nicotine started with me. It was just like
the stress.
Yeah, because there's like days where I go to work and I'm like, all right, I'm wiring up a panel that's live, and this arcs. That's it.
Yeah,
like,
it's dangerous for sure.
It is. It's dangerous. Is it fun? Yeah,
sure.
It's fun. Is it dangerous? Yeah. Is it for everyone? Nope.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would definitely say my grandfather and uncle are the two biggest. Now, non-people related, probably going to the Bahamas.
Yeah?
I planned on that when I was 20, and it was just like, I planned on it, and then something came up with a COVID outbreak at a resort, and I was like...
There we go.
I was like, well, that's gone. Like, thanks.
Talk to me about grief, now that you've experienced it twice. How does it feel for you? What's the journey like?
I haven't experienced this twice, but definitely being older and an adult with people dying, it's interesting. And I don't know, maybe because like my generation and like the way I was raised, but death obviously sucks. And you grow up your whole life and like, I've hunted deer, I've gone hunted pigs.
You get the circle of life. I
get it. And like part of me is like, okay, like people are going to die. But the other part is like, there's never enough time. There's never enough memories to make with people. And I will say, in a weird way, it was probably the best thing that they died for me to realize that. Mm-hmm. To realize, like, dude, you can make as much money as you want doing this, but those memories that you have are like look at my uncle. He died with the memories that he had. I have his rifle, and his son has his truck. Like, he didn't get to take this with him. And it's made me realize, like, you gotta really take and value the time you have on Earth with people, and not just be like this. Because everyone always, I see all the time when I have these Grant Cardones and Ty Lopez's of, here's how to make $10 million. Yeah. Cool, you made $10 million. Who are you gonna celebrate it with? Yeah. Like, great. You have a nice house and a nice car. I've been there. I've had a lot of money, and I've had no one to celebrate it with. Jordan Belfort says, "They're a rich man. I've been a poor man. I'll take rich every time. Only if there's people to celebrate it with." Right. Like, I'll take the option of most people to celebrate with.
Because why sit by yourself and count your money?
Exactly. Why sit by yourself and count your money when you can be with your friends, being broke on a couch with a cheap pack of PBR watching the NBA Finals? That is,
which is so fun.
That is way more fun.
Yeah.
Getting beer drunk on a cheap PBR watching Game 7 of the NBA Finals, or watching a Super Bowl, or the dogs win Natties. that was for sure the highlight of post high school life. Has been the 2 national championships.
Oh, geez. So grief taught you that. That is super interesting. Tell me what the biggest lesson of the last 4 years has been for you. Losing your dream, like what you thought you were going to do, not necessarily your dream, and having to figure life out a little bit.
Biggest lesson? Probably, oh gosh, you're not going to know everything, and you're never going to know everything. There's always something new to find out, to figure out. There's always something new. No matter how many times you think you've seen it all, something's going to get thrown your way. It's a total curveball. That's the way I put it. I mean, I never thought, like, if you asked me at 18, what was I doing? If me currently met 18-year-old RJ, very much would be probably more so pissed. Adam, because he, first of all, I have tattoos now, and younger me, like, hated those things.
Yeah.
I have 3 of them working on a full sleeve for my leg and arm now.
As a mother, I'm like, don't do that.
Oh, my mother feels the same way.
I know.
She's going to hear this and be like, oh, my son, I'm just going to...
I tried. I don't know what happened.
She tried. My grandmother is more so than once, but disappointed the most in me on that one. But definitely, like, I learned very quickly that I know very much nothing about life and nowhere with where I'm going. All I know is there's along for the ride. And whatever happens, this one happens. Like, you can control some things, but most things are out of your control.
And you just got to roll with it.
Yeah. Roll with the punches.
Yeah. Talk to me about friendships. And when I say this, I ask it in the arc of COVID, meaning it seems that COVID, that launch year, like, you know, when you're supposed to go away to school or do whatever you're going to do, and you have this idea of like, I'm going to leave high school behind. I'm going to meet all these new people. I'm going to do all this stuff. Nobody seemed to get that. And so they seem to hang on to their high school people a little longer than you normally would. And some people are still there and haven't branched out of that.
I'm not going to lie. Can I talk dirty for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
I see this on Instagram all the time. I follow like some people from high school still. And I see them posting with their friends and I'm like, not to be rude, but you know, sometimes, most of the time in life, your friends are supposed to walk away.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds horrible.
Well, they're there for a season.
Like, my dad put it best. Your friends are there for 4 months. Your family's there forever. Right. Your family's always going to be there. Like, and so for me, like, I see a lot of people posting, like, with, like, their friends from high school. And if it's once in a while, like, hey, we just hung out, like, for the first time in like 3, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like, reconnected. You know, I've done that with people. But I see people posting with their friends from high school all the time. And I'm like, how do you not just want to rip each other's heads off at this point? Like, I feel like you just get sick and tired of each other. That's all. I mean, that's how I feel. Or
didn't you grow?
Like, didn't you at least, like, grow up and, like, or if you did grow up, to grow up together, at least, like, grow together? Like, and I know social media is just, like, the good moments. Right. But there's still, you get to figure out something in the good moments of people's lives. So for me, like, I don't say people.
Did you just kind of, I don't want to say wash your hands, like, when, after COVID or during COVID, when you graduated, I say that in parentheses, from high school, were you like, did you just let go of your friends and move on, or did you hang out with them more? Or
there was definitely, I think the best way to put it would be some of them, like Shu, Sam, Grayson. Still talk to Grayson every now and then, and Sam also, but we definitely kind of were like, we weren't best friends in high school. Devon even, we were like, we weren't best friends in high school. We were best friends in high school, but it was definitely realized, like, you're going to Atlanta, I'm staying in Savannah. Yeah. You're going to North Carolina. You're going to Athens. Whoever I stuck with for a little bit was Jackson, and even him and I haven't talked in probably a year now. So I mean, I definitely would, like, I definitely think I held on a little longer to those friendships. Was it unhealthy to hold on to those friendships? Probably, in some aspects. Was it healthy? Definitely. I think that during COVID, you kind of had to.
You needed it.
You had to hold on for the extra 9 months of, like, because you didn't have any more friends. No. Like, you didn't go to class because, I mean, like, I see, like, this guy that I know who's 26, he's Parker, this guy Parker I know, he went to college back when it was still college. He's like, dude, my high school friends, after, like, the first week of college, we didn't talk at all. I was like, why? He's like, because I went to lectures, and the first words out of some guy's mouth was, this professor sucks. I was like, agreed. Yeah. And then you became friends with other people. Like, that's how it started. And after a week of college, you didn't talk to your old high school friends. But for 9 months post high school, that's all we did.
It was like trauma bonding. You had nothing but each other and then sit in it.
Yeah, it was just sit down and just like, how's it going? No, it was just like hop on Grand Theft Auto 5 or get on a phone or a group call with them.
How easy for you guys to, like, that you could actually play video games and stay connected.
That made life really easy. I will say it definitely made, like, the mental aspect of COVID very easy, because there was, in some ways, an escape from the reality of the situation, which was, there's really nothing to do. I mean, I could go fishing, but, like, that's only so fun for so long. Right. Like, you can't fish. I can fish for 3 days straight, maybe at most now. Back then, it was maybe 4 days. Like, it's just getting shorter and shorter because, I mean, there's just only so much you can do for that long. So it was definitely nice. Did it definitely create a bad habit of staying up way too late to play video games with the guys? For sure.
For sure, you all did.
For sure.
Yeah.
We were staying until midnight, 1 a.m.,
At least,
2 a.m.,
yeah.
1 a.m., running the Grand Theft Auto heist that we all ran. But, I mean...
What else were you going to do?
Yeah, what else did we have? There was nothing better.
Do you think that... I mean, you guys are coming up on like a 5-year high school reunion. Isn't that crazy?
I don't want to think about that. I'm that old. I'm unk status at this point, it feels like.
So, like, do you think that social media or things like the video games and the fact that you all went through this COVID thing that was very unique? I think each class had it different, but yours, yours was like...
We definitely caught it. I think the second worst. I think the worst was definitely 21 caught it the worst.
Yeah.
Because they just had...
They had nothing.
They didn't have a prom.
But what they did have was college. And you guys didn't get that. And I think what people forget is like senior year of high school. Yeah, okay. You didn't, I mean, not having graduation did suck, but like no prom, like whatever. But like that launch year, like you said, your whole life would be different.
Yeah.
Had it been normal. Yeah. And you would have went away because you probably would have wanted to stick it out because you would have liked the independence. You would have figured, maybe not, but maybe so.
I mean, also, though, I can also put part of that entirely on me for being lazy and lethargic and not doing the work.
But do you think...
But that was mostly just me being immature at the time, if I'm being honest. That was being a kid. That was mostly just trying to be a kid for longer than I should have been a kid for.
Well, that's all right. You're loud. Do you think, though, that you guys have some kind of bond, not tight bond, but like a string kind of connects all of you because of what you went through?
For sure.
Like,
because there's always going to be the ability to just go and like say like, hey, like especially I'm going to do this with my kids for sure. Because when they complain, I'm going to go, you think you have it rough.
Yeah.
I was locked in my house for 9 months.
Right.
And now every kid from 2020 that graduated high school in 2020 can now say like, no, like you don't get like to say that like, oh, freshman year of college sucked because I went through freshman year of college without having any ability to make any new friends.
Right. It wasn't any fun.
It was no fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think there is like connection to all of us in the sense of like, we can all kind of just talk about like how that changes as people.
Right.
Maybe for the better or for the worse, but it changed us.
Okay. So in talking about not having graduation prom or anything like that, those traditions that like cap off high school that you guys did not get. How do you feel about tradition now? Are you like, whatever? Or do you kind of savor those traditions a little bit more? Not necessarily graduation, but like things like, Christmas or St. Patrick's Day. Like,
there are certain traditions that I love and I do not want to let die. But overall, I think that, and this says I'm horrible because I'm going to sound like I'm better than everyone. I'm not trying to sound like that.
Yeah.
What I mean, what I'm going to say here is, I think that as a society, we make so many things a tradition that it kind of loses the tradition, like, novelty of it. Of like, oh, it's a tradition. Like, when I was a kid, one of the favorite things one of the best things was Christmas time. Go to the West End, across the center river, and look at the gingerbread houses.
Yeah.
With my grandparents. It's like one of the best traditions I ever had.
We did that too, yeah.
We don't do it anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
It was a great tradition that I get to look back on as memories of. But in a sense, I'm kind of glad that tradition's over with because it keeps those memories of that tradition happy. So there are some traditions that I think should stay forever, like the shot that everyone does the first thing in the morning, St. Patrick's Day. If you go to any St. Patrick's Day breakfast, they always do a shot every morning at the breakfast. That's something that you should keep because it's kind of like this is how we start the day. It's horrible to start the day. It's how you start the day, though. But there's some traditions that you need to let die.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe COVID kind of made society realize that. And it was at least made me realize that. It's like, not everything's worth having a tradition over. So, I don't know. That's just how I look at it.
How did you feel about losing graduation?
If I'm being honest, because that statement about I wanted to get out of high school, still true.
Yeah.
That did not change.
Yeah.
So for me, graduation was literally just a diploma to me. Like, I'm not to be like, oh, I didn't care about any of it. Like, Dad, want to walk across the stage and shake the hand of Giff Lockley?
Yeah.
Yes. Did I really care that it didn't happen?
Yeah.
Not entirely.
Did you participate in that motorcade we did?
I was yes. My mother would like.
She made you, yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely told her, I was like, no, I don't want to do this at all. And she was like, I don't care. And she's like, I don't care. I'm glad that she did make me do it.
Yeah.
Because it was something I get laid back. And I'm like, okay, at least I get to shake his hand and like do all that, but I never get to walk on that stage. And I'm okay with that, honestly.
Right. All the stuff that happened right after you guys graduated, like societal issues, like went right into like Black Lives Matter and then Roe versus Wade and then all this Hamas stuff and everything. All that stuff happening for you guys, around you guys. How do you feel about it? Did it desensitize you or did it make you a little bit more of an activist? Like, because it seems like the whole world is on fire or was on fire.
It still is on fire.
It's still on fire.
It definitely is still on fire. I'll say this much. I think that as a society, the whole BLM, Roe v. Wade, like, I think that what people kind of overlooked in that whole time, and no one's looked at it anymore, and it's finally coming to light, and I'm glad it is, how, pardon my French, shitty journalism is. Yeah. Like, it really is starting to show, because and here's the best example, New York Mayor Adams.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's very easy to show just how easy it is to, like, pay someone $1,000 to write a headline that you want to say your way. Yeah. And so I think that, like, what the whole COVID pandemic and then, you know, a lot of people being unemployed, especially journalism at the time, dying, it was very easy for, if you had enough money, to kind of be like, hey, make it sound like this is way worse than it actually is. And so I think in a certain sense, it definitely desensitized us because, I mean, if you look at it.
You can't trust any of it.
No, I mean, I don't trust anything I see anymore at all. I mean, unless, like, I know the person that, like, is telling me this. Like, if, like, my best friend's like, hey, this, like, da-da-da just had, like X and Y happened. I'd be like, okay, but if someone's like, hey, look at this TikTok of X and Y happening, I'd be like, AI. Yeah. AI. Yeah. AI did it. No, that's not real. Like, so it's just, I think that a lot of the political issues. Now, it also, though, on the other hand, for a lot of people that I know, and it definitely made a lot of people try to be more active in the political space. It's good and bad, but I think that having a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds in the political space that really didn't have a right to be in that space because we're not very smart when you're 18, 19 years old.
Well, and stuff hasn't really happened to you yet. Yeah, like usually,
you like everyone's like, oh, we need to do this, and this, and it's great. Like, I mean, yeah, great, you're being active, and I think it's great that you're exercising some of your rights that you have, but at the same time, there is a point where what you're just doing and saying is just like redundant at this point. Yeah. Like,
so for you guys, like, if there's no trust in journalism, and quite a few people said stuff like this, like you can't trust anything on social media, like where do you get your information? Or do you just tap out and not worry about it?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. My father raised me in a very specific way, and I watched him. My father has a master's in political science degree from Georgia State University. Okay. I read his thesis when I was 17 years old for a school paper for Lee Stanger. So for me, I've kind of just learned that I use the markets as kind of my way of seeing what's going on in the world. Because markets can't lie. Because markets, people's actions, it goes up and down. Just like people like, so I invest my money, and if the market's going up, I know the world, or at least the American market's doing it, meaning America's doing something right. It's going down, I kind of look into it more. Now, I also try to stay informed. And thankfully, with social media and through some YouTubers, there are platforms that do email you things and tell you just how left and right and down the middle it is. So you can read up.
You can't discern.
But you have to pay money for it. And I'm 22 years old, and I'm not gonna lie.
That's not a priority.
I'm not putting like I'm trying to find a girl. I'm trying to find the next ex-girlfriend over here.
And that costs money.
And that costs way more money.
Yeah, right. And that's going to improve your life way more than, I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's just interesting.
I mean, every time I see people in modern politics, their life, they're either A, losing their hair, B, losing their minds, or C, both.
Both, right. Exactly.
So I'd rather just stay out of that.
Yeah, exactly. What role does social media play in your life? Are you on any of it?
I am on it a lot. I'm always on TikTok. I'm not going to lie, but I'm on it for the funny content. I use it mostly for sports, if I'm being honest. Because I'm a guy. I'm 22. I like sports. I follow Ghetto Gronk on Instagram. I don't know if you know what that is. It's the funniest.
Yeah. I have 2 sons. Yes.
Yes, I know. I love Ghetto Gronk.
Yeah.
I have TikTok. I mean, I try to keep up. I try to do like the whole social media beyond the page. I realize like I'm way too just like don't care to get canceled that I can't be on social media. Like,
so it's pure entertainment for you.
No, it's entirely entertainment for me.
Yeah.
It is entirely like my mom will send me something and I'll just like the other day she sent me a video. I think it was like a hunting video, and she was like, "This is like really like you should read this." And it was one of the clips in the video was a guy misusing a shot, and I was like, "You actually learn how to use a shotgun before I make a video."
Yeah,
and she was like, "You can't take anything serious." I'm like, "No, because if you do, your life just starts going downhill."
Yeah,
like, make jokes, make it fun, make it interesting.
It's so funny. I'll send my kids stuff too, and they're like.
And I just look at it as like, how can I make this funny and make it happy in my life?
So is TikTok what you're on? Like, there's no more Snapchat. I feel like that's kind of gone.
I'm on Snapchat, but really...
People are on it, but like not really.
I'm only on it for this girl I know, because Snapchats me a lot. We've been talking on and off, and that's really about it though.
So like no Instagram?
I do have Instagram, but that's solely for my sister and I send each other memes all day.
Okay.
That is like that's my favorite activity to do.
Yeah.
I will see something on it. So I saw Charlie Warner post something. It was in the caption. I read it and I was I was like, and I just sent the next message was, "This guy's a guy's guy for sure."
Yeah.
And she was just like, "You're an idiot." Like, "You're an idiot. This is definitely a guy's guy right here." I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Talk to me about dating the past 4 years, because I mean, but this is kind of where I'm going with this. You guys didn't get that year of like exploding into the college scene or whatever you were going to do, where you were just in it with you're meeting all kinds of new people and everything. You were stuck again at home. So I feel like a lot of people mentioned like it kind of pushed them online to date.
It definitely did.
And then they were like, this is just what I've heard, so disillusioned with that they
like it was just
like it was so lame that they like tried to go back to the bars. People like,
all right, I'm about to drop a really rude statement here.
No.
If you're 18 and 21 and you're thinking that you're going to find a girlfriend love of your life, the odds of that, unless you're Grayson or Sydney, are very slim, because most 18 and 21-year-old guys and girls just want a situationship.
Yeah.
I've been in and out of a few relationships, I'm not going to lie. I'm still in between with a girl right now down in Florida. So that's definitely like interesting. But I'll definitely say that it definitely pushed me online. I went to Tinder for a little bit and Bumble.
Yeah, everybody did.
And I think that was probably the worst thing for our generation, or for at least our class. Going online to date. Because
every one of you has said it.
Well, because I go out to bars and I can be social. You give me a beer at a football game at a bar and it's over.
You've made friends.
I'm gonna find people to talk to.
Yeah.
You don't understand.
Yeah.
But no one else can, it feels like. I go out and I'm like sitting there and I'm watching like Georgia beat the hell out of Mississippi State. And I'm like, oh yeah. And everyone else are just like, I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's the middle of fall in the South with football.
Stop looking at your phone.
Get like, or like, I work at a baseball field right now. We're building it out Richmond Hill. And I mean, I'll just sit on the bleachers and just like eat my lunch and look at the sky and like talk to my coworkers. And I'll look over and I'll just see like the new kid who's 17 just sitting there on his phone. I'm like, how? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Like, I get a headache about my phone for too long. Am I old now for saying that?
No, I think what happens, or what I hear mostly, is that you guys are the last generation, really, just because you're Gen Z, right? So, but you're kind of elder Gen Z.
Yeah,
you guys are the last kids that grew up. You're digital natives, but you grew up without anything attached to anything. Like phones you got in middle school, but phones didn't have all the crap on them.
No, I had a flip phone.
Yeah.
I had a sliding Nokia.
Yeah.
And like, it was lit. I love that thing. That's had it, honestly.
Right?
It was so useful.
Okay, so even if you did get on social media in high school, because that's when it really started for you guys, like 8th, 9th grade, Instagram, all this wasn't what it is now.
No. Oh my gosh. No. I mean, I get on Instagram now, and this is horrible, but it's entirely an algorithm. And the problem with it isn't that you have people on social media. It's that parents are letting their 13, 12, 13, 14-year-old son,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just going to say it out loud here, get on Instagram, open a new account, and I guarantee you some of the first posts you'll see will be for some girl advertising her OnlyFans.
Oh, you gross.
And it's like that's all that social media is now. It's just a cesspool of just that or some stupid rap beef or some drama in the world that you're just like, it's a cesspool. Unless it's sports, in my opinion, or actually like family members posting, it's just a cesspool. And I'm like, sucks. Like, no.
Yeah.
But back when I was in middle school and even in high school up until really like senior year, if I got on Instagram, I was probably going to see a bunch of Twitter memes, something about sports, some contract update with someone, and some of my friends' posts. And it was all like family-friendly stuff. And now as you get on it, you're like, okay, what? Like how gross? Like it's it's the weirdest things now. And I guess like that stuff's always been around, but social media just made it way more prevalent in our lives that it just makes it worse.
Well, I think you guys, what I'm noticing is that you guys recognize it. Like you're the last crew, year, generation, whatever, that recognizes how vile it is.
It's horrible.
Where like people 3 years younger than you are so addicted they can't even understand how you could live without it.
Oh, my youngest friend, Sam, who's 20 years old, he cannot survive without TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram. And it's so depressing to see as a guy. Because I'm like, because he genuinely like he can talk to girls, but he can't introduce himself to a girl in like person, like start a conversation with a girl,
right?
Or, like talk to even like even with me, when I go over to his house, like he's like, oh hey, how's it going? And I'm like, it's going all right, and then he won't say a word to me until I start the conversation because he doesn't know how to. Right. He went through pretty much his last years of high school just online, texting people.
Definitely. So I just have a few more questions. Okay. And then, well, is there anything that I didn't mention that you wanted to talk about?
I mean, honestly, if I had to talk about one thing that happened during COVID, it really felt like, at least now, because of COVID, I think that a lot of people have this. I'm a huge car guy, a huge truck guy. I love V8s. I love no like exhaust, just header dumping a car is like the coolest thing. Because it's the real.
You really are a redneck, yeah.
I know. I want to put graphs on that, 35 graphs on that truck out there. So yeah, I'm a redneck. But so like during the pandemic and after it, I've seen so many car companies make EVs, and I think that like as a society, like we need to accept that like EVs, while they are the future, they are not the current future of cars. And if you want a good example of this, look at Stellantis. They own like Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler. They have literally are on pace to lose over this year alone $11.5 billion. And they are the number one biggest car company outside of Tesla, which is wild to think. And it's because if you look at it, the cars that aren't selling are their EVs. And I'm not trying to be like political, but you know what I mean? It's like,
I completely understand.
It's like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to buy an electric car. I need a truck. I hunt. I fish. I pull bows with my truck. I actually use my truck for truck things. And I know that Ford Lightning or that Ram that's electric or the Chevy electric car or whatever it is, it's not going to pull Sam's 10,000 pound boat.
Right.
My Tundra can barely do that. And it's a gas vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone's like, oh, they're great for the environment. No, they aren't. Like, if you want to see how great they are for the environment, look up a Bagger 983. It's taken out mountains before. And it's used to mine lithium and coal for electric vehicles, and it takes out mountains.
Right. I think people are forgetting about that.
No
part of it. No one's looking at where they get their power from.
Do you want to know why? Because it's not in America. It's not. Yeah. It's all over Africa, China, India, right, where it's more prevalent, yes, and it sucks. And look, I'll admit, just the EV alone, while it is better, there are better ways to get that energy. Like a good example of this, if you really wanted to like go there, you could in theory put generators or an alternator under the road that gets spun by EV car wheels that would charge a generator, and using the energy that the EVs are using, recharge them. That would be way better than just my lithium-ion batteries that when they go bad. Plus, I've not ever seen this, lithium-ion fires are impossible to put out. They just burn themselves out. That's how they have to.
And I have seen so many of them with this hurricane. Like the hurricanes,
horrible.
like my friends in Florida, you know, with their golf carts, their electric golf carts, or electric cars.
Oh, yeah.
Like people's houses have burnt down.
What's even worse is, and I think this is even worse, honestly, is nowadays you can't even, like, it used to be, my grandfather would tell me this when I was 14. He never replaced his car battery ever for like 20 years. I was like, how? And you just add distilled water to it. But you can't do that anymore with batteries. So, like, and it used to be like back in the day, he would, like, if a hurricane was coming through, he's like dumped water out of batteries before. Because it's just distilled water. If you get rid of the water, there's nothing to conduct the electricity. Mm-hmm. So it can't go boom if it gets hit with something. And now, if it's just a live battery, doesn't have flames, it's done.
Okay. What do you think people misunderstand about 22-year-olds today? Who are you all about to turn 23?
Okay, so 22, 23-year-olds, what's misunderstood? For anyone wondering what's misunderstood, I would say that there is this, I don't know, maybe it's because I just see it because I have friends who say it, and my coworkers are old school, and some of them are older than me. There's this idea that, like, you should get married young and have kids and have, like, and while that's all great and all, 22-year-olds nowadays, we just want to live. We just want to have a life. And also, I think the better way to put this is 22-year-olds nowadays define success a lot differently than how old previous 22-year-olds did. Because obviously everyone's definition of success is different. But I think a lot, like not a lot of time, but back in the 90s or 2000s, I think the general goal was just like house, wife, kids, career, at least a stable life.
100%. You know? Sure.
And I think nowadays it's just shifted to just like, we just want some privacy, some time to ourselves, some time to just figure it out. Because ever since, I mean, I dropped out of college. I mean, my parents haven't, but I think my grandma has, and some of the people that like I've kicked out of my life, not my grandmother, but like other like friends.
My grandma, she's gone.
She's still in my life, but like a people like friends. There's this expectation on people. It feels like that nowadays by 22, you're supposed to like have it all figured out. And like I said earlier, there's no one has it figured out. Not even Stephen Hawking didn't have it figured out. Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't have it figured out. Because at the end of the day, everyone's just going with it and just rolling with it. And if you think that that's changed because, oh, we're Gen Z and we have phones and we have access to all this information, then you're an idiot because you've always had the access to the information. It's just a lot more condensed down now. Mm-hmm. We still have the same type of needs, though. We still have to work. We still have to go to bed every night. We still have to eat, sleep. Like, there's no time to just read up on how to live life and how to figure out, like...
Do you feel like those boxes you were mentioning, like checking the boxes, like go to college, find a wife, get a house?
Yeah.
Like, is that real still?
I think to some people it 100% is. I think that if you're driven enough that those goals are entirely achievable. But I think the problem is that so many kids nowadays want to change the world and they want to help people, that they want to get these degrees that are, sorry to say this, worthless. If you get a degree in psychology, sociology, marketing, business, dime a dozen. I know 4 girls who are all over 26 who are literally working $14 an hour jobs and they have marketing degrees because they can't find a job because it's just so oversaturated in the market. And it's just so oversaturated that if you're going to go to college and you want to get a degree and have a wife and or a husband and have a life and kids, have a stable career, you got to get a degree in something legit like engineering or architecture or like your son, construction management, because those are things that you have to have a degree in, doctor even.
So, okay, last question for you, RJ. Like, what are you going to do with your one big life? When you are my age, you're in your 50s and you look back, what do you want to say about yourself?
It's gonna sound really corny. I just want to be able to look back and hopefully everyone that's ever looked at me and been like, you're not gonna make it, it's still alive, gets to look at me and go, damn, he has the nicest house and the nicest truck and the nicest boat and the hottest wife and the coolest kids and the ability to just literally just have FU money. And that is what I want to do. Will it happen? Probably not. I'll probably get 3 of those things. That's more than enough.
Yeah, that's more than a lot of people get.
I'm probably going to get 3 of those things. Not get all of it, though.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to Laying Fallow. Be sure to listen to the rest of the episodes, and to learn more and see the portraits from both 2020 and 2024, head over to my website, www.donnavonbruning.com, or to my Instagram, @DonnaVonBruning.